Good morning, everyone. Myself, Kausar Momin, your science teacher. First of all, Happy New Year to all of you. Now, we will go ahead with our study, that is 9th Standard, Science 1, Chapter number 12, Study of Sound. This is very interesting chapter. In this chapter, we are going to discuss about sound waves, velocity of sound, reflection of sound, the human ear, audible sound, infrasound and ultrasound. All these topics we are going to discuss in this chapter. Sound. Sound is a form of energy which creates the sensation of hearing in our ears. The energy is in the form of waves. A medium is necessary for the propagation of sound waves. Sound wave give rise to a chain of compression, place of higher density and rarefaction, place of lower density. Compression means higher density and rarefaction means place of lower density in the medium. The particles of the medium oscillate about their central or mean position in a direction parallel to the propagation of the wave. Such waves are called as longitudinal waves. I'll show you what type of longitudinal waves are there in the video part. Okay. On the other hand, in the waves created by dropping a stone in still water, the particles of water oscillate up and down. These oscillations are perpendicular to the direction of propagation of wave. Such waves are called transverse waves. One is longitudinal waves and other one is transverse wave. First of all, we are having a sound which is having waves, and two types of waves are there: longitudinal waves and transverse waves. Here you can observe the example for longitudinal wave and transverse wave. First, we are going to see that waves are having a presentation of this way. So you can say this is having a direction of left to right. You can observe with this spring. If you consider this spring, it has an fall on left to right. Okay. So when the waves are propagation with perpendicular direction of motion, that means transverse waves. It has a direction of left to right and the waves are perpendicular to the direction of motion. You can observe here perpendicular to the direction of motion. Okay. The waves are going this way and it is perpendicular to the direction of motion. Now next is example for longitudinal waves. They are parallel to the propagation of waves. You can observe again it has left to right. If you are going to observe that it is having a motion of parallel, so this comes in longitudinal waves. So here is the diagram of sound waves. Loudspeaker, change in density, high, low, high, low. So again you can observe here change in pressure, and we are having a diagram for the same density or pressure related that. A sound wave can be shown in the form of graph. At any moment during the propagation of sound wave, we would find alternate bands of compression and rarefaction of the medium, bands of greater and lesser density. This figure shows the change of density. In figure B shows the changes in pressure. The changes in density or pressure as shown in the graph. The wavelength of sound was indicated by Greek letter lambda. This letter is lambda, while this gives us wavelength. Whenever you have to write wavelength, we are representing with this lambda. while its frequency is indicated by mu. Here you can observe here and u is written there, which we are pronouncing as mu. Okay. The amplitude, which is the maximum value of pressure or density. Here you can observe maximum value of pressure or density. This is amplitude, and which we are indicating by A as amplitude. The time taken for one oscillation of pressure or density at a point in the medium is called the time period, and it is indicated by capital T. The value of frequency determines the pitch, high or low of the sound, while the value of amplitude determines the strength or loudness. Next topic is velocity of sound. To understand velocity of sound, we are having an activity which is very easy. Point number 1 of that activity is take your friend to a place where there is an iron pipes. Example, the school, staircase or fence. Stand near one end of pipe and ask friend to stand 20 to 25 feet away from near the pipe. Ask friend to gently tap the pipe with stone. Press your ear to the pipe and listen to the sound coming through the pipe. The same sound coming through the air can also be heard, but which sound reaches you first? Obviously, iron. So from the above activity, you can see that you hear the sound through the pipe much before you hear it coming through air. So this shows that sound travels faster in iron than in air. The distance covered by point on the wave. For example, point highest density or lowest density in unit time is the velocity of sound wave. So here we can write a formula for the same. Velocity is equals to distance upon time. Any point of the sound wave covers a distance equal to wavelength, which is lambda, in time t. Thus, the velocity of sound is given by v is equals to mu lambda, because 1 upon t is nothing but mu. So, hence we can write the formula for velocity is wavelength upon time period. Obviously, hence we can write v is equals to lambda upon t. Lambda is wavelength, t is time period. Thus, the velocity of sound is equals to wavelength into frequency. This mu represents for frequency. So, velocity of sound is equals to wavelength into frequency. The velocity of sound is highest in solid and least in gases. It increases with an increase in the temperature of the medium. So it is different for different substances. The velocities of sound in various mediums are 25 degrees, which is at room temperature. So it is different for different substances. Okay. Now next, velocity of sound in gaseous medium. The velocity of sound in gaseous medium depends on physical condition, that is the temperature, density of the gas and its molecular weight. So we will go ahead with the temperature, density and molecular weight. First of all, with temperature, the velocity of sound is directly proportional to the square root of the temperature of the medium. This means that increasing the temperature 4 times doubles the velocity. Density. The velocity of sound is inversely proportional to the square root of density. Thus, increasing the density 4 times reduces the velocity out to half its value. Molecular weight. The velocity sound is inversely proportional to the square root of molecular weight of the gas. Thus, increasing molecular weight 4 times reduces the velocity to half its value. So, the molecular weight of oxygen is 32, while that hydrogen gas is 2. So, we can prove the condition for velocity of sound in hydrogen is 4 times that in oxygen. Next topic is audible infra and ultra sound. The limits of hearing of the human ear are 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz. This type of question can come for one word answer or fill in the blanks. Okay, the limit of hearing of human ear is 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz. That is, the human ear can hear sound of frequencies in this range. These sounds are called as audible sound. Our ears cannot hear sound of frequencies lower than 20 Hz and higher than 20,000 Hz means 20 kilohertz. Sound with frequency smaller than 20 Hz is called infrasound, which is sound which is less than 20 Hz. It's called as infrasound. Okay, the sound produced by a pendulum and the sound generated by vibrations of the earth crust just before an earthquake are examples of such sound. Obviously, we cannot hear such type of sound. Okay, sound waves with frequency greater than 20 kilohertz are called ultrasounds, which is greater than 20 kilohertz. The dog, mouse, bat, dolphin, etc. have special ability to hear ultrasonic sounds. Thus, they can sense some noise which are audible to us. Children under 5 years of age and some creatures and insects can hear waves with frequency up to 25 kilohertz. Bats, mice, dolphin, etc. can also produce ultrasound. In the previous chapters, we discussed about reflection of light. So, in the similar manner, sound also reflect. For that, we are having an activity. We will go ahead with this activity and discuss these things in detail. Make 2 sufficiently long identical tubes out of cardboard. Arrange them on a table in front of wall as shown in figure. Place a clock near the end of one of the tube and try to hear the ticking of the clock and end of the other tube by placing to your ear. Adjust the angles of the 2 tubes till you can hear the sound very clearly. Measure the angle of incidence and angle of reflection. Try to see they are related in any way. Like light waves, sound waves too get reflected from a solid or liquid surface. These waves also follow the laws of reflection. A smooth or rough surface is needed for the reflection of sound. The direction of the incident sound wave and reflected sound wave make equal angles with the perpendicular to the surface, and all these 3 lie in the same plane. Example of reflection of sound. When sound waves strike a surface, they return back in the same medium. This phenomenon is called reflection. The only difference is that sound waves, being larger in length, require bigger surface for reflection. Reflection of sound waves takes place in the same way as the reflection of light waves. Sound is reflected obeying the laws of reflection. That is, angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. The incident wave, the reflected wave and normal all lie in same plane. Example, the hollow tubes are arranged in front of a plane surface on a tabletop. A ticking clock is kept near the end of one of the tubes. A screen is placed between tubes so that sound clock may not reach you at the end of the other tube directly. The tube near the ear is moved into various positions. This process is continued till a position is reached where the ticking of the clock is most distinctly heard. Angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. We can say that angle I is equal to angle R. Next is good and bad reflectors of sound. How much of the incident sound gets reflected decides whether the reflector is good or bad reflector. A hard and flat surface is good reflector, while clothes, papers, curtains, carpet, furniture, etc. absorb sound instead of reflecting it and therefore are called bad reflectors. Next is echo, E-C-H-O, echo. You must have visited an echo point at hill stations. If you shout loudly at such point, you hear the same sound just after a little while. This sound is called as echo. An echo is the repetition of original sound because of the reflection by some surface. In order to be able to hear the original sound and its reflection distinctly at 22 degrees Celsius, what must the minimum distance be between the source and the reflecting surface at 22 degrees Celsius? The velocity of sound in air is 344 meter per second. Our brain retains a sound for 0.1 second. Thus, for us to be able to hear distinct echo, the sound should take more than 0.1 second after starting from source to get reflected and come back to us. Thus, we can determine minimum distance between the source and the reflecting surface as follows. So, we can say distance is equals to speed into time. Speed is 344 meter per second and time is 0.1 second. So, hence that distance should be around 34 meter. It is approximately 34.4 meter. Okay, thus to be able to hear distinct echo, the deflecting surface should be minimum distance of the half of the above, that is 17.2 meter. As the velocity of sound depends on the temperature of air and this distance depends on the temperature. Next topic is reverberation. Sound waves get reflected from the walls and roof of the room multiple times. This causes a single sound to be heard not once but continuously. This is called reverberation. The time between successive reflections of particular sound wave reaching us becomes smaller and the reflected sound get mixed up and produce a continuous sound of increased loudness which cannot be clearly. This is the reason why some auditoriums or some particular seats in auditorium have inferior sound receptions, and you can observe these things in this diagram. The sound gets reflected again and again and again. Next is sonar. Sonar is a short form of sound navigation and ranging. It is used to determine the direction, distance and speed of underwater object with the help of ultrasonic sound waves. Sonar has a transmitter and receiver which are fitted on ships or boats. The transmitter produces and transmits ultrasonic sound waves. These waves travel through water, strike underwater objects and get reflected by them. The reflected waves and received by the receiver on the ships. The receiver converts the ultrasonic sound into electrical signals and these signals are properly interpreted. The time difference between transmission and reception is noted. This time and the velocity of sound in water give the distance from the ship of the object which reflect the waves. Sonar is used to determine depth of the sea. Sonar is also used to search underwater hills, valleys, submarines, icebergs, sunken ships, etc. Today I'll stop my lecture over here itself. Your homework is topic you have to write about sonar and you have to draw the diagram for sonar. Thank you.